Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Great Malabai.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Ayo. Yes, we start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, enough is enough. Pope Francis wades into Israel-Gaza war, says humanitarian laws must be respected. Gaza hospitals overwhelmed as shelling continues. Israeli forces readying for ground invasion. Hamas critique by Palestinians. Abbas removed from comments. Well, the war in the Middle East, Israel versus Hamas. Of course, they are following that deadly, vicious attack by Hamas on the Israelis. Ever since the pounding of Gaza and its people, yes, the people of Gaza, they've been taking a hit, and even when Israel asks that they move to one side, only over the weekend, those who were on that road, considered as a safe corridor, were even hit, and 70 people died on that road. Israel, well, taking vengeance, revenge, call it whatever you want to call it, but there are laws, there are international laws, there are laws of war, and I don't think Israel will be above the issue of war crime, because, yes, the Palestinians killed people in the Israeli side of the fence, as it were. But there can be also no justification for killing children on the other side. On either side of the border, of course, it cannot be tolerated. The Pope now wading into the issue, a huge humanitarian crisis out there in Gaza, where people are cramped into a very tight space, the most densely populated space in the world. That is even in normal times. Now, talking about a war situation where bombs are raining down on the Palestinian territory of Gaza, then you can imagine the humanitarian crisis of huge magnitude. But these are war situations, and so many things just take a hit, including truth and even the laws of war, governing wars across in the international laws guiding how wars should be prosecuted. But all that seemed to have taken flight in this encounter. Now, the story just beside the photograph, Ganduje will protect APC's mandate in Nasarawa. Of course, Nasarawa, where the governorship election tribunal cancelled the victory of Governor Sule. But the APC still battling that and appealing that verdict all the way. Now, the Punch newspaper, federal government may spend 3.2 trillion naira on palliatives loan. 15 million households will get 1.3 trillion for 3 months. 125 billion naira for SMEs, MSMEs, others. PWDs demand more palliative from Sanwo-Olu. Kwara IDPs get relief materials. Now, if we look at the leadership newspaper, election petitions, appeal court transfers cases to Abuja, Lagos, as APC, PDP, LP protest interference. Cases in 19 northern states taken to FCT. Appeals in 17 southern states moved to Lagos. And of course, the political parties are protesting the movement of these appeals. Now, if we look at the Vanguard newspaper, 21 states owe 790 billion naira inherited pensions, gratuities. Rivers, Benue State's top list with 119 billion naira, 100 billion naira. Southwest, Niger Delta regions have 256 billion naira, 25 billion naira. What we are doing to offset arrears, states, pensioners being owed so much over time. And these states, these are some of the states that get huge revenue from the federation accounts, yet they cannot pay their pensioners who have served this country and are now retired. Now, just below the photograph, foreign investments in manufacturing up 88% to $861 million. That's what the Vanguard newspaper is reporting. Also, on the front page of the Vanguard, federal government targets 2 million barrels per day oil production to boost revenue forex, according to the Minister of Finance. Now, let's look at the Daily Trust newspaper. The Daily Trust newspaper, Boko Haram attacks escalate in Borno. 252 persons killed in August. Report, attacks heightened after repentant terrorists returned to bush. Gwoza Emir is the one making that allegation. Perhaps that also explains the futility of branding some of these terrorists, repentant terrorists. Apparently, according to this report, many of them have returned to their old ways after being supposedly rehabilitated. Defense headquarters plans review of operations. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper returned to manage floatway out of Naira crisis. Expert, yes, floating of the Naira, the desired outcome, harmonization of the exchange rate, the I and E window, and of course the parallel market has not yielded, has not come to pass, and of course the gap still widening, the Naira having that free fall. So some experts are saying, why not return to the era of managed floats and see whether that will solve the problem? Yes, above, just below the photograph there, analysts turn down AMCOM's 10-year in aviation industry, query interventions in Arik Aero contractors, warn financial books of 2 airlines in public. Yes, AMCOM taking over some airlines as a result of their debts, but this report is saying 10 years after those interventions, not much have been achieved, and we want to see the books of Aero Contractor and Arik Air. Now, the Business Day newspaper, Nigeria's power dream stuck 10 years after privatization. Yes, of course, 10 years ago, there was first the unbundling of the power holding company of Nigeria, then the privatization. But 10 years down the line, have we been able to solve the problem of power? Of course, the jury is out there, and Nigerians can testify that not much has really changed. Now, the Abuja Inquirer, why I accepted to work for APC. Wike, I have president's mandate to step on toes. That's what Wike, the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, is saying, that he has the president's mandate to step on toes and put his right in Abuja. Now, the Nation newspaper, Tinubu, why Supreme Court can't admit Article CSU's evidence. President files reply to ex-VP's bid. BBC insists on CSU certificate not forged. That's the Nation newspaper. Now, the New Telegraph newspaper, standard test, NCAA to ground deficient airports, says non-certification cost Nigeria ICAO audit, explains why Lagos, Abuja aerodynamics lost ratings. Kaduna flight stoppage, more of security issue, no saying. Now, the Blueprint newspaper, certificate controversy, Tinubu fights back, alleges forgery against Atiku, says ex-VP school certificate bear Kujoli Sadiq. Well, of course, allegations still flying here and there. Now, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, Bayelsa, Kogi, Imo elections. PDP, LP disagree with APC over INEC's assurance. Opposition parties raised doubt over e-transmission of results. We are still traumatized by February poll experience. Labour Party, trust INEC at your peril. Okori, Abga, one candidate. We won't accept results declaration not electronically transmitted. INEC will do what it had promised. APC. Of course, INEC's promises, of course, the tribunal, the Presidential Election Tribunal referred to INEC promise as mere assurances. So if I were the political parties, you prepare for all scenarios so that you are not caught in INEC promises that will just be described as mere assurance when the chips are down. Ruben, Rufai, and Ayo.
I mean, so I think it was the Daily Independent that they say experts say revise to manage floats is the way out of the economy. You know when I saw that headline, you know what came to my mind? Confusion, breaky bone, that's what's happening to Nigeria economy.
Well, there are so many prophecies from Fela's song that
we are already having a managed float. As we speak, what we are doing is a managed float.
The government said it's not a managed float.
So experts is saying it's a managed float because they are intervening. You saw the last circular. They said they will intervene when necessary. It's a managed float, but experts say we just go back to what we are doing already. It's a case of confusion, break bone. Honestly, we are confused.
Just before we go, to remind ourselves that today is World Food Day. October 16 every year is set aside to remind the whole of humanity of the food crisis that we face. In Nigeria now, inflation is over 20%. You know, food inflation in particular, higher in some parts of the country due to insecurity, due to poverty, due to drought, due to very low allocation for agriculture. And the theme for this year is water is life. Life is water. Leave no one behind. Showing the importance of water, which is life, truly, as the theme states. But it's okay. World Food Day, so eat aplenty today, so that you can.
Yes, for those who have to eat. So that and remember those who don't have to eat.
Well, thank you very much, Emmanuel.